Good afternoon, and welcome to St. Vincent de Paul's second annual virtual fall fundraiser. Before we get started, I'd like to get a quick sense of the community of St. Vincent de Paul supporters that's in the room right now. We're going to do a little poll to see the many ways our supporters are connected to St. Vincent de Paul and to the community of care that we formed together. Please respond to the poll only when I mention one of your own connections to SVDP, and you only have to respond once. First of all, several of you in the room today are members of our Board of Trustees. Please respond to the poll questions now if you're one of our board members. More of you are members of our District Council, meaning you're the volunteer president of a local chapter of St. Vincent de Paul, leading other volunteers to help families in need in your own neighborhoods. Please respond now if you are. More of you may be a member of one of those 36 local chapters, which we call conferences. Please respond to the poll questions if you're a member of an SVDP conference. Many of you have spent your precious time as a volunteer on our direct services campus in Oakland or one of our thrift stores. Please respond if you've volunteered with us. Some of you shop in our thrift stores in Fremont or Livermore, whose proceeds go to fund the programs of SVDP. Please respond now if you do. Some of us are members of the St. Vincent de Paul staff. Please respond if you are. A lot of people bring us donations we can give directly to those in need. Please respond if you've brought us clothes from your closet, or done a food drive for us, or donated toys or backpacks, or household goods or furniture, which are given away to those who need them. And finally, most of us in this room have made financial gifts to St. Vincent de Paul, which is why we're here today. Please respond now if you've supported our work financially. From the chart, you can see that the community of care that is formed around St. Vincent de Paul is broad and powerful. We're going to learn today how that community comes together to make a positive difference in the lives of our low-income and unhoused neighbors. Right now, I'd like to welcome Marcel Lloyd, our Director of Programs, to lead us in an invocation.
Thank you, Blaise, for that personal welcome and allowing us to see how many people are actively involved with St. Vincent de Paul. Before we move forward with our program, I would like for us all to take a moment and clear our thoughts and allow the presence of the Lord Jesus Christ to inspire and move us all to give during this inspirational hour. As we continue with the program, I'm reminded of the words that Jesus spoke to his disciples before his betrayal. Jesus said these words, "A new command I give to you, that you love one another, just as I have loved you. You also are to love one another." That comes from the book of James, chapter 13, verse 34. So as we proceed today, I ask that everything we do be done out of love. In honor of our Lord and Savior, I ask that y'all take a moment and bow with me in a moment of prayer. Lord, I stand here in your house, along with all those who are watching and participating in this program from numerous places. I say thank you for your love, which was bestowed upon us even before our life began. I ask that you use today as another example of your love that will manifest in all the lives of every soul that walks through the doors of St. Vincent de Paul, or those that reach out to St. Vincent de Paul in the midst of their struggle. Allow our hearts to be inspired by your love, and allow our cup to overflow through the blessings that will come forth from today. And as we accept these gifts, we will be mindful to give you all the praise and all the glory for all that you have done for St. Vincent de Paul. And with the blessing that the Lord received, I will now hand you back over to Blaise. Thank you.
Thanks, Marcel. Get my little books to stand on. We have a really nice event for you to experience today. You'll hear from the CEO of the Oakland Chamber of Commerce to discuss SVDP's impact on and partnership with the local business community. You'll also hear from two Vincentian leaders, board members, who dedicate so much of their time and their lives to this organization. But our main focus today is on the impact your gift has on the people we serve. In the course of the next 50 minutes, you'll hear from 16 of our guests, many of whom stay in our shelter or visit our community center for case management and other services during the day. The common thread among all of them is what your giving provides. The kindness they receive from staff and volunteers at St. Vincent de Paul, the assistance they get from us to move their lives forward in ways they couldn't do on their own, and the lifeline that St. Vincent de Paul provides for those who might be lost without it. Your gift to St. Vincent de Paul has a far greater impact than you might imagine, and not only because it touches and changes people's lives. It's impactful because so much of our work is done by volunteers. On any given day on our campus in Oakland, you'll find more volunteers than employees. It's impactful because hundreds of individuals and groups in the community have already donated the goods we provide to those in need. The food in our dining room, the clothes in our clothing closet, even toys for children at Christmas. It's impactful because the members of St. Vincent de Paul, the Vincentians, have for more than 80 years been thinking and planning for the long term, knowing that neighbors will always be in need of help from other neighbors. And over time, they've purchased our facilities and we now own them outright. So your gift does not need to pay rent on a 40,000 square foot facility at Oakland's going rate of $30 a foot. And finally, it's impactful because you're part of a vast community of care made up of everyone I've mentioned and more, volunteers, in-kind donors, Vincentians, and financial supporters, all of whom work together to provide a safety net and a path out of poverty for thousands of people each year. Now I'd like to show you a short video so that our guests, the people we serve who need your support, can tell us firsthand the value St. Vincent de Paul has in their lives.
That it's a health organization, you know, people are like taking time to get to know people and shit like that, helping people in specific areas in their life or whatever. So the organization is great.
You know, I'm thankful for St. Vincent de Paul because once we come in the doors, it's a very safe place. The women have a nice place to stay. And, you know, it's just nice to see the same people.
For our staff, everyone's been great here. Everybody, every staff member has been awesome. Every staff member here has been helping me a lot, you know what I'm saying? They treat me, you know, with kindness, you know, and which is great.
St. Vincent de Paul is a wonderful place to help human beings, the elderly, people in wheelchairs and crutches and canes.
It was my good luck that I happened to come here to St. Vincent de Paul and run into these people. You know, everybody that met me, for the most part, they took an interest in me in some type of way, in one form or another, you know, and I'm thankful for that.
I don't know what preconceived notion I had about homeless shelter in Oakland, but this knocked down whatever it was that I thought it would be. The cleanliness, great food, hot showers.
So, you know, this place is great. It's helped me tremendously. It's a wonderful place.
Came across St. Vincent de Paul and they've been helpful to me, have kept me sober. But just to know that I have a place to come and rest my head, I got a meal, just there's like hope for me now.
I wanted to be in somewhere where I could actually feel as safe as I could in a shelter. And when I came here and found out that you have to have a mask, they take your temperature and things like that, I thought that this would be the best thing for me as far as my safety is concerned. Mm-hmm.
This place here, I'm grateful that it was available at the time that this virus thing hit, because I don't know what I would have done if I wasn't here.
Anybody can tell you they're a Christian, but a real Christian won't tell you. You'll see it in their actions. And that's what I've seen here in the staff.
You guys are heaven sent as far as just the availability that you guys are here. Mm-hmm. You're taking the temperatures at the door. You're trying to squeeze everybody in, trying to leave nobody outside. Everything that you guys are doing is a heaven sent. It's a Vanguard stance, and I love it.
knowing that I have somewhere to come to and I don't have to worry about wandering the streets at night or where am I going to go or am I going to, just situations that don't need to be thought of anymore.
And I just thank you for listening to us.
That's
And
great.
thank you for all the volunteers here. They feed us so well and they let us shower and they give us food and shoes, everything one needs.
Unless somebody walks in the shoes and have gone through it, they should not judge and they should not go through and assume certain things because you cannot, not unless you walk beside somebody, can you understand? You really can't.
Just a great place to come to. They got good programs, great programs that they help you out. The housing part, the shelter, take a shower. Just great place to come to.
If it wasn't for this place, St. Vincent de Paul, a lot of people won't make it. It's a blessing that is here.
It's a great place. Come. Yeah, definitely come. It's a wonderful place. They take really good care of you.
Next video features our board president, Kim Murphy, and a very active volunteer, a very active board member, Nancy Hollister. These are two professional women who felt so strongly about this organization that they each recently took on huge leadership roles and are dedicating nearly full-time hours to our mission, all without pay. It's such an inspiration to work for people like Kim and Nancy and our other Vincentian leaders who give their all to this mission of humble service.
My name is Kim Murphy, and I've been involved with St. Vincent de Paul for about 31 years.
My name's Nancy Hollister. I'm a retired nurse practitioner, and I've been involved with St. Vincent de Paul since 2013.
And right now I am district council president for St. Vincent de Paul, Alameda County.
During my career, I have always felt called to serve the poor, and I've always been working with underserved clients. So when I retired, I looked around to see where I could continue that. And the reason I chose St. Vincent de Paul, and especially the dining room and the district office, is that it's a very organized, safe way for me to interact with the poor. I've also become a regular volunteer at the dining room. I volunteer 5 days a week. I also serve on the board. And it's just been such a pleasure getting to know all the wonderful people that volunteer here and all the wonderful guests that we serve. Well, Kim, I want to congratulate you on being our new district council president and board president. Because I've heard that you have done so much in Alameda in your city with coalition with other agencies. Tell me a little bit about that.
So I work on a joint task force, coordinated outreach. And a lot of times we're able to help clients a lot more with all different agencies coming together to help. If we all work together, it's amazing what we can do. What do you get out of this work?
You know, I'd have to say a lot of my identity is associated with being a Vincentian and being a volunteer here. Before I retired, if somebody said, who are you? The first thing I might say, besides being a wife and a stepmom, would be I'm a nurse. But now I think if somebody asked me, I'd say I'm a volunteer at St. Vincent de Paul. I'm a Vincentian. So I feel like it's kind of become part of my identity.
Right.
I especially enjoy working with new volunteers and trying to find the right place for them when they come in, to find out what their special skills are.
And I saw what you did with Missy, how she was so excited and so happy to be doing what she is gifted with, and that's artwork. And so that was so wonderful.
That worked out. Yeah, that's the nice thing about volunteering at St. Vincent de Paul. Not only are we serving our guests, the poor, but we're also giving the community an opportunity to come in and provide care to the poor in a safe environment, a well-organized structure.
Right.
So that's kind of, sometimes it's hard when you get a new volunteer. especially in a busy kitchen, you're thinking, oh, I have to stop and show them, what to do. But then I have to remember that this is their opportunity to serve the poor. And that's part of the reason St. Vincent is here too.
And to know what their gift is,
Right.
and to give of themselves.
Right.
Whatever your gift is, there's some place that you can fit into St. Vincent de Paul.
Exactly. Kim, as president, I'm sure you have some ideas about what we could do to improve. What would be your wish list for St. Vincent de Paul?
I guess my biggest wish would be if we could create an SRO, or if we can do something to have more beds for people who are homeless.
Yes, I feel that I am called by God to serve the poor, to feed the hungry, and clothe the naked. And this is a formalized, well-structured way to do it.
You have people in St. Vincent de Paul who have been doing this for so long. This is what we've done. This is what our mission is.
Yeah.
This is who we are.
And also part of being a volunteer for me is the teamwork that I experience. We all work together. Everybody's equal. We just, doesn't matter what your background was. It's so much fun in the kitchen when you see somebody struggling. Immediately there's somebody else there to help them, and somebody says, can I help you? It's just a really good feeling of warmth and support. And I look forward to just the camaraderie I really enjoy.
Yeah, I do too.
Thank you, Kim and Nancy, for your dedication to St. Vincent de Paul. Without examples like you both, our value programs at St. Vincent de Paul would not succeed. Today, I'm so pleased to stand here before you and speak to you all about the outstanding programs that St. Vincent de Paul has for anyone and everyone in our community. As I was sitting at my desk last night and working on preparing for this week, I thought about how I would explain to you all about the great programs that we have. I began to rack my brain and thought about all these big words and sesquipedalian words and I wanted to use and how to make this interesting. And I boiled down to just tell them what we do, Marcel. Tell our viewing audience today and those gathered here with us about the wonderful things that our programs offer to our guests that we serve daily and how your donations directly impact those that we serve. As we are gathered here in our community center, one of the vital places of our downtown location, I'm reminded of a time when Blaze and myself and one of our other managers were doing a tour. And as we came off of West Grand and San Pablo, and as we walked through the doors, someone said, I feel such peace and tranquility when I walk into your building. And when you get out from the hustle and bustle that the streets offer, I thought, wow, how impactful and what a privilege it is and to offer our guests a place where they can seek peace and refuge, escape the violence and all the things that go on outside of our doors. And your donations, your dollars have a direct impact on providing a place where our guests can feel safe, our guests can have peace and tranquility. As our guests come in and they use our facility here downtown, they are ushered into different areas of our buildings, our men's center and our women's center, where our guests are able to shower, wash clothing at no cost to them. I don't personally in my own life have to do much of the shopping. My wife does that for me. But one day she asked me, can you go out and get some detergent? We need some bleach. We need some fabric softener. And so I went down the Safeway and was gathering all these items. And I was truly shocked on how much it costs. Truly shocked. And so to be able to offer the washing of clothes and take that burden off of someone's shoulders who doesn't have the financial means to be able to do so, your contributions have a direct impact on helping those. And I think not just only of our community center, but our dining hall, a staple part of the St. Vincent de Paul, which has been serving meals since 1974. I just had a birthday. I was born in 1974. 47 years in this community serving meals. Your dollars have a direct impact on helping serve these meals. We serve anywhere from 500 to 700 meals. This is without including our shelter and the number of meals that we serve in there. And again, just to make it personal, when I think about how much it costs to feed a family of 4 in my household, 24-year-old, a 14-year-old, my wife and I, and I'm always astonished at the bill when she comes back and I'm like, we spent how much on groceries this week? So think about when you're serving 500 to 700 guests Tuesday through Saturday, serving in our shelter 7 days a week. Your contributions have a direct impact on those that we are serving. When I think about how St. Vincent de Paul, and specifically our emergency shelter, has survived through this pandemic, I feel we are truly blessed. God has had his hand upon us, where we have taken over thousands of COVID tests. We've given out over 100 vaccinations and directly participating in saving lives and preparing lives in this pandemic that has been vital and affected many of us. And so I say this, that what we do and how you support us has a direct impact on many of the guests that we serve. And so I can go on and on telling you about all of our programs, but my time is limited. But I implore you to go to our website, www.svdp-alameda.org, to find out more about our programs. And as I've given you some of these examples, how your donations are hard at work here at St. Vincent de Paul, I still believe that there is much more that can be said. And as opposed to me continually to tell you about this, I wanted to let you hear from one of our guests directly and the impact that St. Vincent de Paul has had on his life. And his words speak volume and can say much more than I could ever say. We're going to take a
My name is Carl DeBose, and I came to St. Vincent's in January of this year. Prior coming to St. Vincent's, I was in another shelter, and I had just become a double amputee. So I'd been out of the hospital and the other shelter for about 4 months, and I came here. Diabetes is what I lost my legs to. I was one of those people that didn't go to the doctor. And this is the result. One of the first things that I found at St. Vincent's is people that were willing to go out of their way to help me. Several people stepped out of their way. One of the things that you guys require, or I should say we're required to do as clients, is to do our due diligence and to try to help our own selves. And once we do that, it allows you to help us. You don't find that necessarily. Some people are set in their ways. Some people have been abused so much that they don't really trust other people. But you have to be open and willing to step out of yourself to try to get them. And one of the things that I found here is that once I did that, people were willing to help me. The first thing was housing. So they put me in touch with a lot of places in order to try to get the ball rolling. I came here, Christy got me a voucher, and she actually went shopping and bought me clothes. Security staff and the staff itself. One of the things that I had a problem with is at the time I did not have my prosthetics, so I could not use a regular bathroom. They went out of their way with Leland to coordinate so that as long as I had a security guard with me, I could use a bathroom at a different facility. These people actually stepped up to the plate. I didn't have an issue where I did all the work and then I had to sit around and wait for them to do something. When I moved from this facility to my own studio, it happened within 3 days. He signed me up on Sunday, was approved on Monday, moved in on Wednesday. I would not have been able to do that because I didn't have the networking. I did not know of the places that were opening up, and I didn't have the ability to get around to all of them. People, one of the biggest crimes you can make is to walk by people and act like they don't exist. We're alive, and through no fault of their own, they might become homeless. You can't treat everybody with a blanket. Sure, not everybody's trying to help themselves, but those that are, can't say you can discern them just looking at them. You have to get to know these people and have grown-up conversation with people. You know, that's important. It is, especially coming from a place of homelessness, you know, because people treat you like you don't exist. So all of this has been beneficial to me. Everything that St. Vincent's has done for me, I appreciate. If you're out there sleeping in the park or sleeping at a bus stop or riding the bus all night, and you want a place where you can clean your clothes, take a shower, and eat and be safe, St. Vincent's can help you. If your eventual goal is to move from this to assisted living or shared housing, or maybe your own place, St. Vincent can help you. The only thing you need to do is reach out.
I'm glad you're able to get to know a couple of our guests a little bit better today. We have a couple more videos to show you that will give you a sense of the impact that St. Vincent de Paul's work has on their lives and the changes that they've made with our help, just like Carl. I'm also glad that Marcel, our programs director, mentioned our work during this time of the COVID pandemic. A lot of people were very concerned, as we all were at the beginning of the pandemic. How do you run a shelter in a time when infection is so dangerous? How do you ask someone to shelter in place when they don't have a place to shelter in? How do you keep the facility clean enough and a congregate setting to keep people safe? And as it turns out, it's rather an amazing story that we've done in the course of the 18 months or more that we've been dealing with this pandemic. We've done thousands and thousands of COVID tests among our staff, our volunteers, and our guests. And in that time, only one shelter guest has tested positive for COVID. And as it turned out, that person was able to be isolated immediately, didn't infect anyone else, recovered quickly, and everything was fine. But to have one positive test out of many thousands of tests given is a pretty miraculous ratio and far better than the general population, not to mention the conditions that folks who are unhoused are often living in. We've done many, many vaccinations here. And actually, I'm proud to say right now that 98% of the guests in our shelter are fully vaccinated. Again, much better than the general population. So someone is doing something right and someone's watching out for us. And we are very blessed to be so fortunate in that position. The Oakland Chamber of Commerce knows that there's inequity in housing opportunities in the Bay Area. That's why the Chamber, under the leadership of Barb Leslie, advocates for increased housing production and has, in her 7 years there, raised and spent over $500,000, providing direct support and resources for our unsheltered neighbors. Homelessness is as important to the Chamber and the business community it represents as it is to any person who lives in a city today. That's why I'm so happy to introduce you to our next speaker, Barb Leslie. Barb has more than 25 years experience in both public service and advocacy for business. She was an assistant to the city manager during the Brown administration, and she directed external affairs and philanthropy for AT&T in the East Bay. She's held key public policy positions with the Oakland Association of Realtors and the Port of Oakland. In 2014, Barb became the first woman president and CEO of the Oakland Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce in its 116-year history. She's represented the Chamber on numerous civic boards and has chaired the Oakland Workforce Investment Board. Barb has a master's in public administration and has lived in Oakland for the last 25 years, where she and her husband have raised 2 children. Barb and I started our current positions at nearly the same time. I think I started 5 months before you, Barb. And we've worked together closely over the last 7 years. I think of Barb as a really effective community leader, as a trusted colleague, and as a friend. Please welcome Barb Leslie.
Thank you very much for that warm introduction, Blaze. And I want to let Marcel know as well that you created a community and a warmth for everybody in this room today by those comments. So I really appreciate it. I certainly felt it as well. So thank you. It really is a privilege to be here today and share a little bit about the Chamber's work, as well as our partnership with St. Vincent's and Blaze and all of the folks here. For those of you who don't know what the Chamber of Commerce is or does, we are 116 years old. Actually, we turned 116 this week on Wednesday. And we are ourselves a 501c4 organization that is obviously designed to support businesses in the community, but we really do much more than that, as Blaze mentioned. We also have a C3 foundation, and for us, it's just as important to support the entire community where people live, where people work, and people play, and the quality of life in Oakland. I take that just as seriously as supporting our businesses in our business ecosystem as well. So as I said, our mission is to secure the economic future of Oakland, but really to enhance the quality of life of everyone who lives here. We do that in a variety of more traditional ways that are similar to business organizations like ours. We convene bodies of people in the community to share their business experiences with their like-minded colleagues. We obviously communicate and advocate for a whole host of activities, including those that we're involved in philanthropically with the City of Oakland. And we obviously lead in a variety of areas to really make sure that there is true connection in Oakland, because we really believe that through that connection is where the real work and real progress is made. Our most important pillar is the fourth pillar, and I think it is very similar to the work of St. Vincent de Paul that Blaze mentioned and Marcel addressed as well, which is really connecting community. That is really where the true work lies, and that is where I think the most important work is for us, for any organization, economic development, philanthropic or otherwise. So how do we do that? Well, First, we find wonderful volunteers. Just like you, we need volunteers to drive our business. And Blaze has been a partner, as she mentioned, for the last 7 years with me, and many years prior to that with St. Vincent's, and is currently the chair of our Community Impact Committee. And that committee used to be called the Nonprofit Committee, but when I arrived at the Chamber 7 years ago, I reminded Blaze, it was actually on April 1st, which I think is an interesting day to begin a job. It was called the Nonprofit Committee, and I felt like that was really limiting, because what we really wanted to do is build a partnership between the private sector and the community. And so we changed the name to the Community Impact Committee, because really, whether or not it's philanthropic support, financial support, or human capital, we really are, the goal is to build community and partnership amongst all of the good work that's being done in Oakland. And we know how much good work there is being done, and we don't want to reinvent the wheel. We really want to amplify that work and deepen that work so that we can serve more people in our community. As Blaze mentioned, and as your organization also is involved, we spend a lot of time talking about and supporting and deepening the connections around workforce development, because again, as an economic development organization, we think it's very important for the folks who live in this community to be able to work in this community and stay in this community. As I mentioned, the CIC chair, we also do a variety of programs and events that are obviously more, as I say, sort of the retail part of the business organization. And we have a program called East Bay Women in Leadership, where we bring together women, but men are allowed to come, but there's a majority of women that come. And we convene about 3 or 4 times a year, clearly virtually during COVID, to really talk about issues that are important to the business community and the stakeholders that are in the room. And then we do a really lovely event at the end of the year in honor of people who we believe truly exemplify those skills and those qualities that we think are so important in leading Oakland. Blaze was a recipient of that award, I think in 2018 or 2019, I can't quite remember myself, but COVID did sort of slow everybody down in that a little bit. But I think it's really important. I have to say there was not a dry eye in the house, and there are, having lived and worked in Oakland for so long, there are few people that I think really exemplify all of those qualities. And we were so proud and privileged to be able to provide that award to Blaze. So I want to talk a little bit about our philanthropy around homelessness, as Blaze mentioned when she was introducing me. We really think it's important as an economic development organization to really address all aspects of what it means to be a member of our community. And we speak to our members often, we speak to our stakeholders often, and certainly residents of Oakland. And really homelessness has been and will be, certainly in the near term, one of the most serious issues facing our city. And we can't turn away. We have to lean in to that, to this crisis. Nobody should be in a situation where if they want to be housed and fed, that they cannot find shelter and food. So we did, as Blaze mentioned, start a program at the Chamber where we have raised $500,000. And our birthday notice just this week was reinvigorating that fundraising activity to get to $1 million so we can continue to support this endeavor. And the way that we've chosen to do it at the Chamber is to obviously support the work of organizations like St. Vincent de Paul, certainly from an advocacy perspective, and the importance of really having available beds each evening and food and community places for people to convene, but also in support of standing up the emergency shelters in Oakland, the cabin community programs, this tiny home programs, where we have really purchased much of the bedding and sort of items that you need to stand up those particular sites. Most recently, just the tiny homes site near Lake Merritt that actually opens this week, which we're really proud of, and we're really proud to partner with the city in that. I was reading your website. Thank you for referring me to that, Marcel. I was reading it earlier, and I think your mission is so aligned with really the community. And as a business organization, sometimes people think that there's silos in this world where one organization might not talk to an organization or have much alignment, but really our organizational missions are very aligned. And one of the things I felt was the most important in reading yours was you're not just meeting the needs of food and shelter for clients, but you are in fact creating that community, and you're building friendships. And one of the things that we have found through this work is the importance of people feeling safe and feeling comfortable when they are seeking shelter or support. So we're just very proud to be here, and very proud to participate in today's activity. I want to just close with a story that actually came up yesterday. The mayor of Oakland, Mayor Libby Schaaf, did an event with the Chamber yesterday where she presented to about 100 people virtually. And we do a lot of partnership activities with the mayor. And during the program, she obviously had to speak nicely of the Chamber because we were hosting her, and that was terrific. And we do a lot of partnerships, but there was one organization that she called out in that presentation, and one person, and that organization was St. Vincent de Paul, and that person was Blaze Bova. And there's a reason for that, because the work that you do and the work that Blaze has done has been so transformative. And we must continue to ensure that we can just continue to support the work and continue to support the efforts of St. Vincent. So thank you so much for allowing me to be here and say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Barb. We really appreciate your kind words and all the support and opportunities that you and the Chamber have provided to St. Vincent de Paul. The next shelter guest we'd like you to hear from is Dana. Dana tried to do something it turned out she wasn't quite ready for, and it left her in an unsafe and very vulnerable position. But thankfully, St. Vincent de Paul was there for her.
And St. Vincent de Paul has helped me feel safe. It's given me a roof over my head, so I don't have to sleep outside. And I'm so grateful for that. And the food, So always warm food when we get ready to go to sleep, and nice breakfast when we wake up, fruit and vegetables, coffee, juice. It's very clean here, very clean. So all of those things really matter to me. I have really met some nice people here and at the shelter that sleep next to me. It has helped me to realize that I need to appreciate a lot of things I didn't appreciate before. Because, I never thought I would be in this situation. So I'm grateful. Thank you. I left Fresno. I, I'm originally from Oakland, California, born and raised. But I left Oakland for 20 years and I lived in Fresno. And I just wanted to come home. I got tired of the valley. Um, it's not the same as the Bay Area. I can get around more, there's parks everywhere. I just left everything. I sold all my furniture and plants and left so much behind, clothes, everything. When I left and I came out here, I didn't have anywhere to go. I just spontaneously left. So that's how I became homeless. It wasn't because of drugs or anything like that, but I did use drugs back in the day. So a lot of that has to do with probably my self-esteem and guilt, because I didn't, I wasn't there as a mother like I should have been. And I'll never forgive myself. Okay, is there anything else? I got to go.
What services do you use here?
I take a bath almost every day. Wash my clothes, use the phones to look for apartments or jobs. And I have a case manager now, Clarice, and she's going to help me the rest of the way. Listen, sometimes your friends and family won't be there for you. And so we don't have anywhere else to go but places like this, strangers that help us.
They become your family.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. So I got to go because I'm gonna start crying here and I'm getting nervous. And
No, good.
Is that good?
Yeah, thank you so much.
At St. Vincent de Paul, we believe in the dignity of every human being, and we have a philosophy of face-to-face direct service, meeting people where they are, without judgment, but with hearts full of understanding and compassion. It's not only how we help, it's who we are. It's why all of us at St. Vincent de Paul have such a determination to help our neighbors to find what they need to succeed. A lot of individuals and families who come here are unhoused and without any resources, or they're working but struggling to meet their basic needs and build a life for their family. The services offered by staff and volunteers at our downtown Oakland campus and throughout Alameda County help our neighbors to rediscover their dignity. Sometimes people just need a helping hand, not a handout, to take the first steps to move past a crisis. Last year, St. Vincent de Paul helped over 200,000 people all over Alameda County with food, clothing, shelter, and job training. We cannot do the work we do without your support. By participating in St. Vincent de Paul, you're creating a path for our neighbors who need us to establish a secure life for themselves. This makes our communities stronger, safer, and more stable. Your gift will support programs like the free dining room, drop-in centers for men, women, and children, job training programs, and other critical safety net services. It takes so little from each of us because we're all working together, and together we can help people build pathways out of poverty. Here in Alameda County, we've been blessed over the last 83 years with support from thousands of generous neighbors, each doing their part to help their community. It's why our motto is neighbors helping neighbors. That support helped us open a free dining room, which now serves 800 meals per day, as well as a job training program, which prepares participants in both hard and soft skills so that by graduation, they're ready and able to confidently enter the workforce. That support helped create a food locker so that anyone from the largest supermarket chain to a small group of friends doing a food drive can help us provide food where it's needed. And a community center where anyone can come without an appointment to receive clothing, showers, laundry service, and special services for parents and their kids. It's your support that allows us to continue to do so much for those who are struggling among us. It's your support that forms a community of care, coming together around those we serve. We thank you for entrusting us to be the bridge to food for the hungry, to a home that's safe and secure, and to a path out of poverty and homelessness. We have one last video to show you about Monica, a woman who never expected to be without a home and who's determined to put her own life back on track with the help of St. Vincent de Paul.
My name is Monica Wright. I became homeless on a Friday morning. I had spoke with 211 and they referred St. Vincent de Paul. I called them and they told me to be here at 5:30. My experience with the shelter was kind of scary because I've never been into a shelter before. But as the days went by, you know, it was much easier. And once I became, I guess it's a residency, they've been helping me out a lot. They, you know, gave me a caseworker and I've been working with her, and a lot of things that I didn't know, she's teaching me the avenues to go down. She's helping me with my resume. She's gonna help me with my, you know, getting my unemployment together because, you know, it's very hard to get in contact with unemployment. So she's gonna also help me with that, you know, everything to make me move forward in life. She's helping me with that and I really appreciate that. They, you know, give us information about housing and everything. So I was able to put my name on a waiting list and I'm just waiting on them to call me. I've been out of work for almost a year. I have a degree, associate's degree in business management. And so she's gonna help me with my resume and hopefully everything go right. I give myself 45 days to be up out of here. And I think that I can do it with the help of them. They're very professional and they're very nice, you know, and whenever, like I said, whenever you need to speak with them, even if you don't have an appointment with them, they will make time for you. And that's really big because a lot of people don't do that. Oh yes, I also use it as an address. And so, you know, I don't have to worry about my mail being misplaced. They have even came to me when I had mail to let me know that I had mail and brought it over to me. So, you know, they're very good on helping you grow as an independent person. It makes you feel good about yourself. You know, once, you know, you're able to take a shower, it has the necessities that you need, water, food, shelter. So those are all the important things of living. And when you have those things, you can do things, you know, a lot better because you're feeling good about yourself. My goal is to have me a job and be in my own place. I was living with a friend and my friend tried to get in a bed with me and I couldn't, you know, I couldn't take that. So I had left and got me a room for a couple of days because I had enough money to get me a room. And when my money ran out, they were nice enough to, you know, preserve me a bed so I can have somewhere to lay so I wouldn't be out in the streets. I haven't had any bad experiences, so that's one good thing. You know, a lot of people that need help, they're also, you know how to maintain themselves, so you know you don't have anything to worry about as far as someone bothering you or, you know, bothering your things. Everybody like basically stay to themselves, so that's a good thing. St. Vincent de Paul mean a whole lot to me because I was down. I didn't know what I was gonna do and they helped me out a lot. And now I feel so much better about myself. And when you feel better about yourself, you're able to move on and do things that you need to do for yourself. Today would be 3 weeks. And within these 3 weeks, I feel like I done accomplished more with them helping me than I could have done on my own. So, you know, I really appreciate that too. I think that they're very professional and they're very nice. And that, that really means a lot when you can come to someone and speak with them and they speak with you like you're an adult like them, and it makes you feel better about yourself. I would tell anybody, if you need any kind of help, St. Vincent de Paul is the place to come to because they are here to help you.
As you can see, our guests very much appreciate the ways we can help them here. They can get so many helping hands when they need it the most. Our case managers, our patient volunteers, our safe facility, and the material help that they can get to get them onto the next forward step in their journey. My own journey started at St. Vincent de Paul as a volunteer. The first paid job I took the same year was a temp job. That was 24 years ago. Now I've become part of the Vincentian family, been part of the caring that happens there. But I'm also one of the cared for. Those of you who knew me 3 and 4 years ago saw me go through some pretty big changes in my own life, and you were there for me. You told me this is who we are. And I knew that already, honestly. The Vincentian family, the St. Vincent de Paul family, is a community of care. I've never seen so many selfless, kind, and generous people. But there's a wider community of care too, not just Vincentians, but volunteers, those who donate goods and collect food for us, and many, many generous donors like all of you, all working together. The whole community of care has to come together to feed, clothe, house, and heal those in need. The whole community of care has made a commitment to support this vital work and this noble organization. We're asking you to make a commitment as well, to offer a gift each month to support the work you've heard about today. Giving each month at an amount that fits in your budget is the easiest way to give, and it helps us have a sustainable, predictable level of support as we pay the bills and keep the lights on. Don't give till it hurts. Give at a level that works for you. Even if it's only $10 per month, it can provide a hot, nutritious meal for 60 people next year. Your gift of $50 per month will keep a family housed this year through rental assistance and help another family every year to get past a crisis and stay in their homes too. And for $100 a month, less than a cup of coffee a day, you can provide 4 weeks of training stipends for students in our Kitchen of Champions culinary training program every year. Whatever amount you give each month, know that you are one vital part of a vast community of care where hundreds of people give what they can in the ways that they can, in the amount that they can, to make sure we're there when someone needs us. Someone like Carl or Dana or Monica, whom you met today. Let me walk you through the very simple steps that you can follow right now on your smartphone to make a gift on the SVDP website. First, point your browser to www.svdp-alameda.org. That's a hyphen. You'll see it on your screen there. And when you do that on your phone, you'll see 3 horizontal bars which display the main menu. They're circled in orange on the screen. One of the menu choices when you click the 3 bars is Donate Now. Click that. Now, at the bottom of the page in small print, it says View Desktop Version. It's a little hard to see, so I'll wait a second and make sure everybody gets to this spot and can find it. You want to click where it says View Desktop Version. This is where you make your gift. Choose Monthly under Donation Frequency and choose the amount that works for you, or you can fill in your own amount. Then fill in your payment information by scrolling down, whether that's on a credit card or through PayPal. And when you're all finished, click the Donate Now button. And while you're doing that, I want to tell you that every new recurring gift we receive during the month of November will be entered in a raffle for a chance to win some wonderful donated prizes. If you're not ready to make a monthly gift, please be as generous as you can with a one-time gift today. $100 will provide 40 visits to the community center where someone without a home can take showers, do laundry, and receive advice and referrals as they try to get their life back on track. Our guests need the whole community of care to support our work, to support their progress, and to create real change in the lives of our neighbors. Thank you for your very generous support. Now I'd like to welcome our board president, Kim Murphy, to the stage to wrap things up.
We are proud of our staff, our volunteers, our programs, and the people we serve here at St. Vincent de Paul. Thank you for your joining us here today and for your ongoing support. Please join us at the after party at this website. Thank you.